What's up? What's up? We are live coming at you straight from our bedrooms, office space.
I'm trying to get the live stream up on my TV.
Yeah. Don't mind us and our technical difficulties, guys. We're still getting the hang of being live.
Something went wrong. Ah!
Something be going wrong. You see it?
Oh, I have it right here. Oh,
Yes.
look, there I am. Okay.
Are in there like swimwear. I love it. This is
Okay.
all right, guys. Let's talk some Love Island. If anybody's here, you're in the live chat, come say, hey, what's up?
It should say Mikey is there, but it's only because his login is on the TV right now on the YouTube app. He's not actually watching.
That's okay. It's all about the support. We love the support. All right. I'm trying to teach myself how to understand these things better. It's very difficult, but I hope that you all stick with us through this because we're just simply a couple of gal pals just trying to figure out life right now.
Oh, gal pals. I texted Broski that we were podcasting upstairs. So if he comes upstairs to be quiet, and he just sends the salute emoji.
The salute. I love that that's how your guys' like signature like confirmation is the salute emoji.
Yeah, we all do it.
How
Baba, you want to be on TV?
do I get on and see where our live actually is? Like I know we're already live. And luckily, like we're chilling. There we go. Now I see us. I'm pulling up my notes here for the tea. Oh my God, this is so cool, guys. So, overall thoughts about the Love Island finale the other night.
I, I liked it. It made me emotional, which is what you want in a finale show about love. Like you want to feel like the couples love each other. And I felt that. The dates were beautiful. They were perfectly a word that I can't think of. Um, they're
Perfectly
per-
like laid out.
yes, there was another word that's in my brain. I can see it, but I can't say it. It's fine. We're just like as fuck. Um, but like they were so perfectly molded, we'll say, to each couple. Like I couldn't have thought of a better date for Kendall and Nicole or Miguel and Leah. Like Cordell's date was perfect. Kenny's date was perfect. Like especially those two. Like the first two were so adventurous, and I liked that. But because it fits those two couples, but the last two were just so sweet and romantic and intimate, and it felt so perfect for those two because like I definitely think those are the two couples that I could see lasting, and I think you could see that in their interactions,
Hmm.
and then the rest of the finale was great. I love that we had like a prom. Everyone looked beautiful. The guys cleaned up really nice. Miguel can wear a suit.
Miguel can wear a suit.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't know. How'd you feel about
I cried the whole time.
it?
I think that the finale was a great way to kind of just wrap a pretty little bow around what was I think, a wonderful season. Um, the season was definitely giving for sure. From well, all right, somebody felt like driving fast today. I don't know if you heard that,
I was
but
out.
that was outside. That was
Damn.
just a but I think that the whole season delivered between Ariana's looks, to the selection of the castmates and how well that they actually all vibe together, to some of the challenges and being as shady as they were, to the drama that was being delivered. And I'm talking like before Casa Amor, during Casa Amor, after Casa Amor. And now we're getting like that finally, like that pretty little bow wrapped around it, because now it's like we're getting closure to all of like the storylines, even down to like Rob's final chat with Leah, when when Rob was getting eliminated, and the final dates were amazing, kind of just like what you were saying. Like they perfectly cherry picked the right people for each date. Um, my favorite was by far Kenny and Janae's.
Oh,
I too am a words of affirmation girly. So to have like a whole bunch of like notes and letters given by like our friends and families, that would also send me into like a spiral.
right. That was so sweet, especially because like how vocal the two of them had been about wanting that video chat day and not getting it and wanting so badly to meet the other's parents to have that as their date. And then too to have letters from their moms that they each got to read to the other, and both moms are like Team Kane hardcore.
Hardcore.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up. So overall, I guess we'll go into the final four as a whole. We'll start with the fourth place, Nicole and Kendall. Do we see this relationship making it outside of the villa?
Yes. I don't know if it's their forever person. I think I said this yesterday when we were recording like our whole recap. I don't know if this is their forever person, but I think it is their right now in their life person. Um, I was a little skeptical about them leading up to the finale, just because sometimes it's hard to get a read on how genuine Kendall is because he is so extroverted. But his reaction to his emotions and his reactions after their date, on their date, writing the letter, um, reading his letter, and then hearing her letter, I think solidified for me that they will last for now. Maybe not forever, but I think they genuinely love each other, at least right now. So they'll, if they grow together, then maybe. If they grow apart, that's fine. But I think for right now, I could see them lasting for a little bit at least. Maybe not forever, but I will stand corrected if they end up being a forever couple. But I think for right now, I can see them lasting at least past the reunion, maybe into next year. Who knows after that? But
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I can see. So how long would you say? My guess would probably be about like maybe 6 months, or like somewhere between 6 and 8 months.
mm-hmm. I think the outside world is going to test them for sure. As it already has, they had their phone back for 12 hours.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so I say 6 months to start, if because obviously there's going to be distance there. There's going to be jobs are going to be a thing again. You know, they're not going to be together 25/8 like they have been. Like all of that's going to factor in. If they can navigate that, then I think they can definitely last a lot longer than 6 months. But 6 months is where I start. If they make it past 6 months, then I will be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Not to say that they don't love each other, but I think falling in love with each other in the villa is so different than trying to be in love with somebody in the real world. Like that's like a fantastical, magical like thing, you know?
Yeah.
They all have so much more to learn about each other, like morally, politically, ethically. Like there's so many things that they now have to have a conversation about that like is definitely will factor into whether or not they last, because now you have to have like, where do you align morally on XYZ? Like, how do you feel about this, and this? If we get married someday, how do you see that going? Do you want kids? Do you not want kids? Like, there's conversations that they need to have, that they obviously haven't had in the villa, because that's like a magical fairy tale land.
I was just saying that yesterday to myself too. I'm like, we don't really ever get any kind of snippets of any like real outside world conversations. And I guess it's kind of hard to think about those things in the moment when you're living in like the villa fantasy world.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like you get so it's like Disneyland. You're in Disneyland and nothing bad or terrible, or you don't have to have these conversations because you're in Disneyland and everything's great in Disneyland.
You just want to talk about all the fun things that it
Exactly.
makes you, yes,
So strip the magic and the isolation away, and now you have to really sit down and say, "Oh shit, okay. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this?" Like, there are things, like conversations that needs to be had, that will definitely be the test on whether they last outside. It's like, are you religious? Are you not religious? You know, like, these are things you have to talk about that, like, normally on a first, third, fourth date, you would have these conversations,
exactly. Yeah.
but they haven't had that. And that, I think, is what will test them, because it's hard to get a read on Kendall, period, because he is so, sometimes I think he's so extroverted that it masks a lot of what he's really feeling. Um,
Yeah.
and you can see Nicole gets irritated with that sometimes. And she even mentioned it, like, sometimes you're so annoying, but I love you anyway.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, if they can make it past those things, then I think they'll last. But I'm not sure. I think Nicole is a little more mature than Kendall is at the moment. And I think that is what is going to hurt them. Because I don't know if Kendall is, you know how guys are in their early 20s, mid 20s, they're not thinking about long-term things. They're not really thinking about like global issues like the rest of us are, like older, you know? And I think that nonchalantness might be a factor, because I feel like Nicole is a little bit, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
A little more advanced in maturity and
yeah,
thinking more about long-term
yeah,
things.
exactly.
That's just,
He feels very in the moment, and I think that is another thing that will hurt them if they don't get past that. If he can be a little more serious with her and mellow out a little bit more, you know. Like, you can have your fun personality, but like sometimes you have to, I don't know, shift a little bit when you're in that, like, you don't have to be on all the time. Like, you can
mhm.
turn it off. And I think he needs to turn it off a little.
Yeah, yeah. He's just a whole lot of energy, that
He's a
one.
lot, which isn't bad, but I think after a while that gets exhausting.
Yeah, yeah. Social battery wise, yes.
I adore Kendall. He was so fun to watch. He was a hoot. You know, I am rooting for them, but like, it would be a lot for me. Like, after a couple hours, I would be so overstimulated. I would snap. I would snap. I'd be like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah. Are we so surprised that they got fourth place after those theories started coming out about the fact that Kendall and Nicole are the most competitive people in the house and they were really just there to play a game?
No, I think in the moment I was shocked, but now being a couple, what, we're like 48 hours removed now.
Yeah.
I think that now that you're removed from it, I'm like, you know what? I could see how they got fourth, because the audience perception of them really fell after Casa.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah.
actually no longer surprised. I was surprised at first, but now I'm not really that surprised.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Um, Before we move into the rest of the couples, I do want to actually touch upon this bit of tea because we're already on the topic of Kendall. But apparently, the night of the finale, there were some very explicit videos that were released or leaked, I should say, on Twitter, of Kendall. Very, very intimate videos, and he did actually post a response to said videos being released. We did post about it actually on our Instagram, and Kendall basically said on his Instagram story last night, "What a way to get my phone back, y'all. I just want to address the content that came out from my past. That was something I shared to someone in confidence and trust. It's unfortunate that it's no longer private, but it is what it is. I want to thank you all for the calls, texts to support me during this time. I'm so grateful for my Love Island experience, and I love you all for tuning in to watch my journey. Excited for what's next." Um, in this, I say poor Kendall
Oh,
to
like that.
have to be riding the high of going through such a successful season of a show that was incredibly popular, but then became so much more popular just because of his involvement being there amongst the rest of the cast. But he does play a role in how popular the show ended up becoming. And
Mm-hmm.
to literally go through that whole season without a hitch and get your phone back immediately to this happening, I feel really bad for him. That's got to be really a tough thing to sit with.
Like it's one of those things that's like no matter how much you dislike a person, no matter how much I don't know, like that's just something you don't do that to somebody. Like
No,
that is so many different levels of like fucked up and wrong.
it's mean. It's so mean.
It's so
And he would be,
it's disgusting. Like why would you I things like that always piss me off because it's like how would you feel if someone did that to you? Like did you not stop for a second and think that like would I want this coming out about me?
no, and also as women too, and like I feel like we've seen most of the time this would happen to like women and female celebrities, like when the Great Fappening happened, however many years ago now at this point, how
Mm-hmm.
many women were affected by having their nudes just completely leaked over data breaches and things like that. So now how can we not be outraged and feel bad for, Kendall for having this
Yeah.
happen? He didn't ask for this.
No, and that's not something I like I said, I don't give a shit how much you didn't like him on the show. That's just something you don't do.
Yeah, like his actions at Casa were definitely condemnable, but not to this level, not to this extent. This was a
I mean,
lot.
what did he even do? What did he even do that like warrants this? What he encouraged the guys to fuck around a little bit? He's playing a game. That doesn't mean that you like do this.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
I wouldn't even I you know how much that I dislike Aaron and I would never like I would even if this was happening to Aaron I would still condemn it. Like that's just you don't do that.
No, no. This is all. It was just so mean, so horrible. I will say though, I did watch one of the videos. Um, Nicole is lucky.
Oh,
Nicole's a
well,
lucky.
listen, you saw her after she got out of the hideaway, okay?
That's true. That's true. But I don't think they went all the way like that.
No, she did. They did. They did the euphemism. She said it was a full course meal.
Oh, okay. See, and we said this when we recorded our week 6 podcast yesterday. I was not very good at picking up on the restaurant terms. I'm too used to baseball terms.
Ariana throwing that back in their faces in the finale. I didn't mention this on the pod yesterday. I'm so mad that I didn't because it was so fucking funny to me. When she called them out for that in her little like speech at the end where she was like whether it was like she mentioned it and their faces were dead. They were like looked like a kid that got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They're like fuck mother figured out what we were talking about.
I actually didn't catch that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and her little like I think it was right before it's like when she first came out and she was talking to them and she's like, oh, it's been a great season, like blah blah blah. And then she was talking about like the restaurant terms and they were all going, Ari, no.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure we brought that up.
Yeah.
Um, Now we'll move on to Janae and Kenny, who I was shocked. I mean, I know Leah has a lot of stands out there, and that's probably how things ended up the way that they did. But
Mm-hmm.
Janae and Kenny, I think, was like a shoo-in for top two, especially with the way that like her and Kenny were matching and Serena and Cordell were matching. I thought that was intentional.
Oh, 100%. They thought they'd be the top two, but obviously, like, it's not up to them who the final two are.
Yeah.
But
Well, I thought they were great, but same questions apply. I mean, do we think that they are going to be a long-term kind of thing? She lives in Vegas, he lives in Texas, so there already is a long distance thing that's going to be going on there.
I want to say, yeah. I don't know. There's just something about him that feels so. I mean, he put her in his Instagram bio like the second he got his phone back. Okay, the man's in love.
And that's the thing. He didn't say the word love once during like the whole thing, which like is fair. They've known each other only for a couple of weeks, but like was it something that they were already feeling towards the end of the experiment and then that's when he was like, "You know what? Love this girl," you know?
Oh, I think they're being so much more cautious about it than like the same with Sordell. They had agreed not to become boyfriend and girlfriend until they were outside and really in the real world. And I think Kane is the same way. Like they're much more aware, I think, of the challenges that they're going to face, which I think is going to help them in the long run.
Hmm.
But listen, Kane was up there looking like a bridal party. All right, these two are endgame AF.
Yeah, they should be endgame because I love it. Like I love them. Some tea with Janae too, because yesterday Serena, Cordell, Janae, and Kenny were all on the Call Her Daddy podcast,
Yes.
and they were talking a little bit about, stuff going on in the villa. Not too much tea I noticed was spilled, except for it turned out Janae and Rob were not nearly as close as we thought that they were.
Really?
Yeah, Janae like cannot stand Rob. Hmm.
It's actually really funny.
And we would have thought obviously differently. And the Rhea and Fran from Chicks in the Office did bring that up to them because they were like, obviously what we saw was like something very different. You guys had like that one conversation after I guess the whole Connor thing was going on and the Andrea situation had happened. And they seemed like they were fairly close, but and then, of course, we also saw like Janae pushing for like a reconciliation between Leah and Rob as well. But I guess it was really just out of like her wanting her friend to be happy, knowing what her feelings were about Rob, but it didn't mean that she liked him.
I can see that. The Powerpuff Girls are gonna stick together. That's honestly that's not surprising. I never really thought they were that close anyway. I could definitely see that Rob would rub her the wrong way. Also, it's kind
I
of like a thing where it's like when a guy fucks your friend over, like their friend could move on, but I'm gonna remember it forever.
mm-hmm.
You may
Yeah,
not be holding a grudge, but I'm gonna hold a grudge.
absolutely. I'm just gonna be coy about it. I'm not gonna talk my shit on
No, but
camera.
in the back of my mind, I don't like him anymore.
She did a good job at really kind of like keeping it to herself though throughout that whole month.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. Now let's move on to second place. We have Leah and Miguel. I guess Leah and Miguel, or I should just say Miguel. I believe Miguel was on the So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey podcast. Um, I guess he says that he and Leah are planning on seeing each other again very soon.
Aw,
So where do we see these two in like 6 months?
broken up.
Same.
I don't not they obviously like each other, but I just don't see them lasting at all.
No, I mean, it's the same concept of like he's in London, she's in LA. That's already so far. Within like, I would give it like a few weeks, the magic of being in the villa, all of that is going to wear off. They're going to be back in reality. Leah's probably going to be very successful. now that she's at about 1.4 million followers on Instagram. So, or actually, I just checked. She's actually at 1.6 million now.
Damn.
She catapulted. And like I think she's like the first in Love Island history to be able to do that. So I know this is not the last that we're gonna see of Leah, but I guess the like I said, their reality is going to hit them. They are going to be fully integrated back into their own personal lives. I think they're going to forget all about each other. They'll probably see each other like the one time and then that's it.
Yeah, I don't think Miguel is ready for a serious commitment yet anyway, which is totally fine. You're still young, you know?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this. It's 6 hours difference here on the East Coast, but the West Coast is 3 hours behind us, which I think makes their time difference down 9 hours.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I was just thinking about that as I was sitting here, as we were sitting here, and you were talking about their distance, and I was like, "Oh, it's like 6 hours, which is like doable." And then I went, "No, fuck, California is 3 hours behind the East Coast, which means I have to add 3 more hours."
Oh my God.
Right? Is that how time zones work?
Wait, so what's the time difference? I'm literally about to Google it right now
Okay,
between
see, yes.
LA and London. And it's about 8 hours.
Okay, see, I knew I had to add a little bit on there.
Yeah. So that's still a pretty hefty time difference. It's like almost it's practically like a full day.
I was literally just about to say it's a whole work day.
Yeah, that's like a whole work day. So
Mm-hmm.
literally it's like Leah will get up at like 8 a.m. and like she'll go do whatever it is she does for work for like 8 hours and then like Miguel is sleeping throughout that
Mm-hmm.
whole time. And then by the
That's
time Leah goes to sleep,
really,
Miguel is up.
that's gonna be really hard. I think if they want to be with each other bad enough, they will make it work. But once you hit that 6 months mark, someone has to move.
Yeah, someone's got to move. It's not going to be Miguel, that's for damn sure.
No, no. And that's the thing, and like long distance wise, when it's like an hour, like when you and Max were in New York and here, like the boy and I have an hour time like distance between us because he's by the New York border.
Is he
Like,
really?
mhm.
It's not bad though.
It's
It would
not,
be
no,
very.
that's so much more, but that, my point was that that is so much more doable
Mhm.
when it's in like a tri-state area, or even like Kenny and Janae, like Vegas to Texas. It's like a couple hour flight, like, right, like that is so much more doable. That is something you can do once a month. You can see each other.
Hmm.
Like flying over international waters is not doable. Like that is one that requires somebody to move after 6 months. You
Yeah.
know, like Jenny. Oh my God, Kenny and Janae could probably go a little bit longer of long distance because they're a little bit closer geographically.
Yeah.
But like, no, as much as I love Leah and Miguel, I think they're so fun and they really have a great dynamic together. And they jokey and they're fun. I don't know. I don't get it very serious. I think she would try a little harder than he would, but I don't see them lasting very long, if even after it, and long enough to make it to the reunion, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like Leah also, from like a maturity standpoint, is also kind of at that point where I feel like she knows better than to like put that much effort towards a relationship that barely has like that kind of potential. And I think that we saw signs of that in the
Mm-hmm.
previous in the finale as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they're very clearly not all that invested in each other, and I think they already know that like it's just not.
No, especially when you put up against the conversations all the other couples were having about meeting family, seeing each other on, like, even Kendall and Nicole were having much more serious conversations about the outside than Leah and Miguel ever had. It was kind of just like, oh, I can't wait to be with you on the outside, but that was the end of the conversation. It wasn't like it wasn't like a meet your mom. How do we make this work? Like, I can't wait to go do XYZ with you. Like, our first date on the outside is going to be this. Like, those were conversations other couples were having that I don't think they ever had.
Yeah.
And that's volumes on where they both are. Like this is so much a for right now situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm trying to pull up more things for tea here. But we will continue on with, of course, our winners, Cordell. Um, this one I can actually see going the distance here.
Oh, 100. Look at it. The matchy couples are gonna go all the way. They're gonna go all the
Yeah.
way.
Well, it's crazy too. They said on the Chicks in the Office podcast, they grew up apparently living stupid close to each other. Like a town over, practically.
That's some serendipity shit.
How do you go your whole life, right? Like you don't even realize just how close you were growing up.
Crazy. And
And then
then
you
they
have an
went to
experience
find
like Love
each
Island bringing you
other on
together.
Love Island.
Yeah. In Fiji. You came from they were probably on the same flight if they were still living in the same. Actually, well, I think not Kenny. I think Cordell lives in Texas now because he lives close to Kenny.
Yeah.
So I don't know if did Serena grow up in Texas? Where is
I
she
know.
from? Where does she
I'm,
live?
I'm gonna Google it.
I know. Like obviously, like they don't have to be living in the same exact place that they grew up in, but like imagine if they did still live super close. What'd you come up with?
This is from their interview with People yesterday. Serena grew up in Houston, but now lives in Los Angeles. Cordell, who lives in Dallas.
Okay. So Cordell is still in Texas. Okay, but she is a Texas girly. I'm sure her family is still living in Texas.
Yeah, so she moved to LA, but her family is probably still in Texas.
Okay.
Um,
That's still pretty sick. Like,
well, let's see how he's in Dallas. Her family's from Houston. Texas is a big ass state. Please hold. I'm pulling my map up.
I don't think they might be within like an hour or two from each other. I don't recall Houston and Dallas being that far from each other.
Oh, I won't do it. This is Houston. This is Dallas.
Okay, so that's probably like a few hours.
That is pretty far in terms of giant Texas. Like you
Mm,
could fit Connecticut in there.
that's true.
Our state could fit in the distance between Dallas and Houston. Here, actually, I could. I'll
So
put
that's
up.
probably like a 5 hour drive.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Which, like, if you're used to driving like that, it's probably not that bad. Especially like when you're related to Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, also, one thing that now that I brought this up, this is what came to my mind yesterday, right? I'm like, of course, the guy who needs the money the least is the one who picks the $100,000 envelope
Right?
and gets the money. I kind of wish we pointed that out earlier in the season. Not to say that Cordell is a bad guy and that they didn't deserve to win because they did, but like what like a small thought that came to my mind yesterday was I hope that Serena picks the $100,000 envelope, or that if he does pick the envelope, that he lets her keep it all. You know, like
Mhm.
I get it because your brother's rich. That doesn't mean that you're rich, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
Okay. So
don't know.
Dallas and Houston are 3 hours and 26 minutes apart if you go the fastest route.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
That is our whole state.
That is literally
Actually, one end of our state to the other, if you go from like, if you go straight up the middle, is only like an hour 45.
what, yeah, I was gonna say, because we're in like the central area of Connecticut. That's about what it takes to get to the berries and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but if you start from like Stamford and make your way all the way towards um like Norwich area, which brings you right next to Rhode Island, that's one end of the state to the other. That's
Yep.
probably about three, maybe almost 4 hours.
I'm gonna Google that too.
Right? Does anybody that watch our stuff actually live in Connecticut or close to it? Because that would be pretty sick.
Stanford. Stanford is an hour from my house right now. An
Same.
hour. All right. And then we're doing the other way. So we'll do New London because that is closest.
Because like what's Rhode Island? Like 10 minutes or something, like half an hour from New
Our,
London?
our state is so small.
Why? What does it say?
Only an hour and 30 minutes.
From Stamford to New London? No way.
I would screenshot it and send it to you right now. And
Jesus.
then add another maybe 20 minutes from New London to the border.
That's crazy, dude.
We're so small.
We really are such a small state. It is actually insane, but I kind of love it.
I forget about it all the time. And then people will be like, yeah, it takes like 6 hours to get to the shore from here. And I'll be like, the fuck?
No,
I'm
serious.
I have four other, we have probably more than four state options if I drive 6 hours.
Oh my God. That is insane. I wonder then what it would be from like Stanford. Because where we are, right, in Central is it's about an hour from Springfield.
Yes.
So if you were to go from like Stanford towards Springfield, what's that, like a couple hours? Right?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. It only takes me 45 minutes to get from Springfield from my house. So,
I think maybe from me then it's about, oh
yeah,
well, I guess I'm closer. So I guess maybe it's less than an hour.
no, you're farther. You're 20 minutes farther from it than I am.
Oh,
You're,
because you're further up north.
I'm north. I'm 20 minutes more north than you are.
I always forget that for some reason.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, crazy. But anyways, seeing each other might be a little challenging, but if he's in tech, I mean, like, it's really cool that Cordell and Kenny are so close to each other. So like, and also with Janae being in Vegas and Serena being in Los Angeles, that's not that far from each other either. So like, if they wanted to all get together, they really could plan it if they truly wanted to.
Oh, they really, yeah, they could. I think they will because they were talking double dates a lot in the last couple days on the island. There was a lot of talk about meeting up. So I think this little quad is going to be BFFs forever.
Plus Leah, because Leah's also in LA. So like her and Serena are gonna be like attached at the hip.
Oh, I love that. I didn't realize that Serena lived out there. Oh, they're gonna be together all the time.
PPG.
PPG baby.
PG back on top.
I love the PPG.
So we'll talk about like some of the other tea that has been circulating through the news cycle, which has been a little crazy, but apparently there was a video that has surfaced. I'm actually going to pull it up right now and share my screen.
Another one?
Yeah. Well, no, no, no. I showed you this one already, but there has been some developments to it.
Oh, is it the Kaylor thing?
Yes, we're going to talk a
Oh,
little
I
bit about
watched it last night. I finally went into my TikTok and I watched it.
Let me share my screen here. Can we see my screen?
I mean, I can see your screen, but on the actual, hold on, there's a,
We can now see my screen, I think. Can we see it?
hold on. There's a delay on the live stream between what I see on here and what comes up on the interwebs. So 2 seconds, and I'll tell you if it pops up on the TV. Oh, it's working.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So Aaron went to apparently put up a story of a Q&A. Thank you, Glorified Gossip Girly, by the way. I was literally avoiding social media the night of the finale because I was working my normal people job. And it was apparently 2 hours. My drive home is about an hour and a half. So I needed to go to sleep and rest. I was off yesterday from work, so I was up at 6 in the morning just for no reason. And so I immediately threw it on so I can catch up and then go back to social media. So when I went back to social media, everything I was just addressed with like hundreds of videos from Glorified Gossip Girlie, and she was literally like my savior in catching up on all the tea. I did order one of her shirts also the other day because
I saw that.
she has a distressed tea line, just lots of bands and artists and stuff. And I was just waiting for a band to pop up that I actually really enjoy. So I saw one that she posted, one of the used, and I love the used. I'm snagging it so fast. I can't wait.
I have to wear it next time we record when it arrives.
Oh, I'm gonna be wearing that shit. But here, let me turn the sound on. So I guess in this video that Aaron had taken in his story, which he quickly deleted, you can hear Kaylor talking to somebody in the background. It was speculated to be Sydney, who was at Casa Amor, um, basically saying something along the lines of like, in 6 months, nobody's gonna give a fuck about Leah. So let me just play that real quick. Oh, I realize my headphones are connected to the speakers here. Let me turn that off. Try that again. I don't know if anybody heard it the first time, so I'm going to try that again.
Guys, I'm doing a Q&A, so drop all your most, I don't even know, the questions that you want to know the most, because I feel like there's a lot of things that you guys have been like, what actually happened?
So you can hear Kaylor in the background also saying she's going to get a shit ton of deals. I don't know, she's going to hit a mill. And at that point, she already had. So obviously, not a very good look on Kaylor.
Well, she stayed with Aaron, so
Lots of judgment. So there have been updates, though, since then, where you can see everybody at the airport after the finale has been filmed.
Oh my God, Leah put you're on your own kid on her Instagram story. I am now a stan of Leah. Leah is a Swiftie. I love Leah.
She is a Swiftie. So the timing, right, is very interesting because you hear obviously Aaron, not Aaron, but you hear Kaylor talking about Leah. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's saying anything bad about Leah. Maybe somebody, whoever she was talking to, was just trying to like cheer Kaylor up for being eliminated or dumped or whatever. But funny enough, how like a mere maybe few hours to 24 hours later, they're literally sitting with her at the airport doing cheers.
Yeah. They I don't know. Their post Villa personas seem very fake and two-faced.
That's how it seems. And so now we have an update from Sydney as well.
I have a hangover, right? And the fact that I just woke up to Becky's and Trolls popping off is not helping this hangover at all. Unfortunately, guys, I am not the culprit. So I'm sorry to my Trolls and the Beckys. I'm sorry, Leah fans, or Leah Nation fans, team. I don't know anymore. You gotta figure out who it really was. Because was it me? I'm proud to say it wasn't me. I was at the club. I was at the club with the Islanders, guys. Till 3 in the morning. I also don't follow Kaylor, and I don't have her number. Sorry, I was just trying to wash all my sins from last night off me. The hangover is definitely kicking in.
All my sins from last night.
I was talking to Kaylor. I don't know, and I don't really care. Whoever it was, please speak up. I'm over this. I want to post my fit from last night. I looked so cute. Also, like weird behavior on your part.
Oh my God. She was going on like a rampage last night. Or
Well,
yesterday.
I mean, right though, because she got voted out before they even made it to the villa, right? Like Sydney never even made it to the villa. So like how would she even know Kaylor?
Yeah. The only thing that she ever knew about Kaylor was when the only thing remotely close to an interaction with Kaylor was when she heard her screaming from the villa after that video got sent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she wrote into Kaylor's DM Kaylor,
Oh,
we don't know each other, but you need to clear the air who you were talking to on the phone. People think it's me, and I'm getting extreme hate. I don't know you enough to take your heat. It's not nice at all. Own up to your mistakes and actions, girl. This can be either appropriate or aggressive, depending on if Kaylor even knew that any of this was happening.
yeah, I think you probably could have worded that a little bit more diplomatically. Um,
I understand her frustrations if it's
yeah,
not actually her.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it's her. I honestly, I never thought it was her because they literally never, Sydney never made it to the villa. So how the fuck would Kaylor, how would they even met? Because they didn't even, I mean, the most that they met maybe was when the girls got left the villa. They were in the villa for 2 seconds. They made eye contact over the fire pit, maybe.
Yeah, and then that was it. She was on her way because the bags were already packed.
Yeah. I don't know why we thought it was Sydney. That's so weird.
Yeah, but there's more.
Whatever you've heard about me, times it by 1,000,000. And if you think it's bad, make it worse.
Apparently now she's calling out Catherine.
Suck my dick. What?
So she also calls out Catherine from Casa. What?
Sydney's interviewing Nick, she said that you were pushing yourself. I wasn't pushing myself. I think I'm not gonna speak on anyone because I'm just not a shady bitch. I don't care. There are people who just really wanted to be in the spotlight and that just wasn't me. And that's totally fine. And I think that maybe she was upset that he didn't choose her, but Kenny was looking for very specific values that were like family oriented and driven and, you know, financially stable. And Sydney was great and she was awesome, but I don't think like that she was like in that place of like, I want a family right now. And that's kind of like where it separated us. And I think that's why, like, if you hear a speech or you guys didn't hear the speech that he gave like prior to coming into the villa, but he was like, this girl like has a lot of values and goals and aspirations. And like, that's why I want to go for her. Sydney was one of the Casa girls.
So I
I mean,
guess she's
with
feeling
that,
provoked.
I mean, that's partly why I think Kenny liked Janae, and she's a little older. She's a little more because he feels Kenny is like light years away in maturity to the other guys his age, and he definitely could tell he's ready to settle down and be a grown up.
Kenny, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Sydney
It's
is a little desperate now. Now she's looking a little desperate now. The Kaylor stuff, I'm behind her 100% because that's if it's not you and you're getting hate for it, that's really fucked up. But going after the other Casa girls, just keep your claim to fame going is a little weird.
right. And especially you also kind of get a feel of that too because of when she says, I was out at the club with Islanders.
Yeah,
Because
girl,
okay, that's great. You hang out with the other Islanders.
you were on my TV screen maybe collectively 20 minutes. Like, like seriously think about it. Like of all the Casa girls, right? Because the Casa Amor was what, 4 days?
4 days, yeah, give or take 4 days.
4-ish days, 3.5 of all the time, and we would flip back and forth between Casa and the villa. In all of that time, the most of the Casa girls I saw were Catherine, Sierra, and Daniela. You didn't really see, and Dea, right? I think maybe we saw Sydney 4 times, and it maybe her screen time was 20 minutes.
I wouldn't even give her that. 20 sounds generous.
Like if you put up a picture of Sydney and say like, what show was she on, right? In a little right post, give me like 6 months from now, right? When we're this far removed from like that far removed from the show, and you put up all the Casa girls and be like, who was in Casa Amor? Okay, Sydney is not one I'm picking.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna remember who she is. I barely remember who she was when she came into the villa after Casa Amor. And I was like, oh, who's that?
Right. Yeah, yeah. Because when you're trying to narrow down who got eliminated, right? You're like, oh shit, I completely forgot about that girl.
The 2 Casa girls that didn't make it into the villa could not, if without this, couldn't tell you who they were. I don't even know who the other girl is.
Oh, Destiny.
See? I don't know who she is.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know where it came from, but somehow it came out from somewhere.
It's just weird. It's weird that we jumped to it being Sydney, that Kaylor was talking to. It's weird that Sydney is clinging on to the very, very minuscule, it's a single block Lego size of fame that she has.
Single block Lego size. I love it. So actually, while we're still on that topic around like Kaylor and Aaron, it turns out Aaron decided not to go home right away after the Love Island experience. He's now currently in LA with Kaylor.
Trying to get his ass on below deck.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, we already know that Kaylor is currently in LA because she is going to be on the Viall Files. That episode comes out tomorrow.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's partially also because of Rob, because Rob also was filming a episode of Call Her Daddy, which also comes out on Wednesday.
Did you see they made a TikTok for it and they used the Leah sound? He's standing up there in his overalls. And now you're sending 3 home. And I'm like, that is the funniest audio you could use to say that Rob is gonna be on your podcast. Poor guy's just sitting there in his overalls, like
honestly, and I love that all she had to post was a picture of a snake just to tease that he was going to be there. Although, please help me understand this because I clearly saw the split between like people thinking it was like Taylor Swift coming up because of her Reputation era. And it's like, come on, girlies. Like, I understand the love for T Swift, but like, you gotta use your brain a little bit and know that like Love Island and Rob are closestly synonymous to a snake right
yeah.
now.
As a mega Swiftie, it didn't even cross my mind that because if Taylor's going to announce Reputation Taylor's version, it's not going to be on Call Her Daddy, guys.
Never. Taylor Swift would never give Call Her Daddy the time of day.
She's going to announce it the same way she did 1989 Taylor's version and Speak Now Taylor's version, right? She announced the shit on her tour, unless it comes out after her tour, right?
She's smart in that sense. She knows better than to go announce it on any other platform.
No. And listen, Reputation is my second favorite album, okay? So as a Reputation girly, I want Reputation Taylor's version more than I want Air, okay? I need the vault songs. I need that shit right now, okay? But I also am aware she's not going to do it right now. She's touring. Tortured Poets just came out, right? If you think about it logistically, guys, okay? All the Swifties listening right now, I love you, but let's use our big brains, okay? Midnights came out in 2022. We did not get a Taylor's version for like almost a whole year after that, guys, okay? Tortured Poets is still brand new. She's like 4 months old, okay? Mother is not going to give us Reputation until the end of the year, okay? It's going to be our Christmas present. Calm the fuck down.
So what was it, right? It was Midnights in 2022, Speak Now in 2023, right?
So it was Midnights in October of 22. Yep. I know October 22 because it came out right before I graduated from cosmetology school. Right. And then it was Speak Now in May of that following year, June, somewhere around there. I want to say June. And then 1989 came out in October, September time, and she announced it in August. So that is 6 months and then like a whole year.
Okay.
So she likes to give her new albums their time to grow. And Tortured Poets has been in the #1 spot of the album, of like the charts for like, we're going on like 13 weeks right now.
Yeah.
So she's not about to drop Reputation Taylor's version.
Right.
Logistically, business-wise, it's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. She's not going to take the spotlight away from the album that is still doing incredibly well 6 months after it came out.
Has she ever even bothered doing podcasts ever?
No, Mother has never been on a podcast.
right? Like at this
She's
point,
not
why
going to.
even bother starting?
Her, I think maybe pre 2020, pre-pandemic albums when she really blew up, right? Before the pandemic, we were still living in the Taylor is famous, but not astronomically Beatles famous like she is right now. I think before then, maybe we could have gotten her on podcasts, but podcasts didn't really blow up until a post-pandemic. You know what I mean? Like podcasts are so popular now, much more than they were in like 2019.
Yeah.
I feel like so like maybe pre Folklore and Evermore, and her big blow up in the pandemic that maybe she would have, but now with her level of fame, absolutely not. Because like she used to even do listening parties with her fans at her Rhode Island house. Like she would select like 50 fans from the interwebs and invite them to her house, and she would buy them presents and bake them cookies, and they would listen to the album together at her house. Like she used to do that all the time. She can't do that anymore. She's also not going to go on a podcast. She's going to break the internet.
Yeah.
If anything, I think the only podcast she'd be on is the Kelsey Brothers podcast, and that's only because she's dating one.
That's true.
But even then, I just don't see it. It's just don't see it. She doesn't need to do it.
Yeah.
She's breathes and she's famous.
Yeah. So that bothered the shit out of me. I needed to just get that out there.
No,
right?
as you should. That was really dumb.
And
And I say that as a diehard Swiftie. Okay, that was dumb, guys. That was really dumb of us.
that's the only reason why I feel comfortable even expressing that, because knowing that I have a diehard Swiftie already on the same page, I feel way more comfortable.
No, it was really dumb. Listen, okay, this is when it's gonna happen. She's doing this thing on TikTok. She's doing like an Eras tour thing on TikTok where every week is a new album and you get a bead for like doing a certain amount of things. You get like a virtual bead, and then after 11 weeks, you get like a whole bracelet, right? That is leading up to something, guys. That's what we should be focusing on. Okay, that's when it's coming out. It'll either be debut or reputation. It is not coming out on a Call Her Daddy podcast, as much as that would be so cool. Like Taylor just like pops up with Call Her Daddy podcast. Then be like, hey, what's up, Taylor Swift? Oh, hey, what's up? So what are you doing here? Oh, I'm just letting you know. Reputation.
I'm not gonna lie though, if she was able to get Taylor Swift, and I know that Alex Cooper is not partnered with Spotify anymore, I don't think. That's what would have put her on top of Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You put Taylor Swift on anything and you're shooting to the top.
And like if Joe Rogan can't get her, nobody's gonna get her. Because he's like at the top of like the podcast world right now.
Yeah, she doesn't, but that's the thing is she doesn't need that. Spotify markets her very well all on their own.
Yeah.
The podcasters need her. She doesn't need them. She could literally just drop the album on Apple Music and on Spotify without a word and it would skyrocket. Okay.
Like Beyonce.
She don't need promotion for literally anything.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to see what other Love Island related things are going on right now. I mean, everybody is podcasting at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just been a lot of wondering if Kaylor is going to address the whole Leah thing. She is back on Instagram, by the way, as of yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's going to be happening. We're still trying to figure out what other things will be going on. Next week, my episode of Vanderpump Robs is going to be coming out, and we're going to be talking about season 1, episode 3 of Southern Hospitality, because I always mix up that and Southern Charm, but it is Southern Hospitality. I'm trying to get him back on our pod so that we can talk about Summer House. I know that you're gonna be on Bravo T with the Stay at Home Moms podcast coming up, right?
Yes. We're recording next Monday. So the Housewives are Sunday, and her and I will be recording Monday to recap the episode. And then Erica's got a pretty quick turnaround time, so it should be a couple of days after that.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be spending a lot of today just catching up on editing our Love Island episodes. So
speaking of Love Island, when I got my nails done on Tuesday, so last week, I was telling my nail tech about Love Island. And she posted last night on her Instagram story that she started watching Love Island.
Oh, I love it.
And I feel responsible. So I texted her and I was like, girl, I'm so excited you're watching this. And she's like, I'm obsessed.
Good. Tell her to watch our recap.
Right? I'm making Love Island. I'm making everyone watch Love Island. Everyone I talk to, I'm like, did you watch it? Were you in it? You should have watched it. It was fantastic. You should watch this. Do you need something to binge watch? There's 36 episodes. You're welcome.
Yeah, seriously. That'll keep you busy for like a solid like few weeks, depending on how much you watch in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I think is everything aside from oh, I know we already briefly mentioned Ariana as a host, but watching her cry during the finale. Just putting on her fan cap once again.
It's my favorite thing in the whole world. I love it. It brings such a different level of hosting to the show. And I will not be surprised if they ask her back for next summer.
I won't be surprised either. I hope that they continue to ask her back.
They should. She doubled the numbers of viewership. I
know they passed a bill.
I mean, look, and then now look at all of the people who are on podcasts. You didn't really see that last year. So if they're smart, they will book her back for hosting next season. And she'll jump at that for sure.
Easily.
Yeah. So I really hope they do, because her fan hat coming out every once in a while is like, it makes the whole thing sometimes. Like her getting so excited and crying. There was a couple times during challenges or votes that she was like, oh, I can't breathe. This is too much. Like, it just, the other hosts, I know everyone said the other hosts were really good. But it just, nothing hits the same as when the host is genuinely also a fan of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. She really did skyrocket viewership because people were just genuinely intrigued on seeing her as a host.
Oh yeah, I mean they brought a lot of Vanderpump Rules people and a lot of other Bravo people over to watch it.
Yeah. Bravo now at this point is being added as collaborators on Love Island's posts. And I think it does help being under that NBC umbrella.
Yes.
But obviously, like you can tell these networks are starting to kind of team up a little bit, especially when it came to Ariana's involvement.
I think if PPG lived in LA together, they would 100% be getting us something from Bravo.
People are really trying to have them on Bravo. I feel like I'm one of the only people out there that's kind of against it.
Oh no, I am with you on it. I saw that comment on a post about it. No, I'm with you on that. Bravo is where things go to die.
That's the thing. I feel like Bravo's kind of just gonna hurt the friendship, and they're gonna overdo it. They're gonna input way too much drama. Alex Baskin should not go anywhere near it.
No.
Lisa Vanderpump, stay away. I don't want to see any of these girls working at Sir.
Oh, they're too famous for that now.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm not really I'm not a huge fan of the idea of them going to Bravo. I know that a lot of Bravo
not at all. I think maybe like Peacock itself doing its own show, because Peacock does have its own shows. I think them doing a reality show with them would be fun, or like a limited series kind of thing would be fun. Definitely keep the viewership of and interest in Love Island in the hiatus between each season.
Yeah.
That'd be fun, but we'll see. I will not be shocked though if a lot of them get calls to do other shows, watch one of them show up on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, that would be cool. Who would we, so okay, if one of them did get a call for Dancing with the Stars, who would we want?
Leah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, hoot. Leah, Rob, honestly, any of the OGs, the real, honestly, anyone could be on it and be great. Janae would be gorgeous on it. Serena would be so fun on it. Kordell even would be fun on it.
Cordell, I feel like would be great at it.
Cordell would be a hoot. Oh my God. Put him up with Riley. They would be such a fun duo.
Oh my God, that would be
Then she
actually.
could have a better season because she won't be stuck with in Harry Jowsey two left feeder.
Riley was way too talented to be partnered up with fucking Harry Jowsey.
Her sister used to be a pro on Dancing with the Stars too. Like they are a very talented sisterly duo of dancers. Like, that's all right. Someone call ABC. Get my man Cordell on Dance with the Stars.
Yep. Because Riley out of all the pros was actually my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I adore her. I loved her sister too.
I was not watching when her sister was on. I think the season that I started watching was actually when she said she was taking a break. I think she
Mhm.
had a baby, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
she's got a almost, or I would say almost toddler.
Yeah, that makes sense because Gabby Windy was the season that I started watching. It was the season
Mhm.
before Ariana got on.
Yeah. I used to watch religiously when it first started, and then I kind of dropped off, and I would only pop in when there was somebody I liked, and then I would immediately leave as soon as they were voted off.
Yeah.
Uh, and Ariana was the first season that I watched all the way through. Um, one, because she made it all the way, and two, because there just also happened to be other people that I liked on it that would have kept me there
Yeah.
if I had gotten voted out. But that was the first season I watched and voted on for in a really long time. And I think it'd be really smart of ABC to throw a Love Island person in there because they would get a lot of viewership.
A lot. Yeah.
Like they did with Ariana. They got so many more people watching that season.
Yeah. And even the season before that too, I think the big pull was Gabby Windy and Charlie D'Amelio. Those were like the two biggest pulls that they had the season before.
Yeah.
Because Gabby was one of the more popular bachelorettes, and Charlie D'Amelio, we are
Yeah.
giant TikTok star. Although I feel like ever since then she's really started to plateau. Like I don't.
Well, I think that's the thing with TikTok famous people is if you don't have anything else going for you other than TikTok, you're going to be forgotten about, especially in this day and age of social media and how quick the cycle is, especially with TikTok. Someone else is trending and famous every hour of every day.
Well, she has other stuff going on. I mean, she has the Hulu show with her family. It's basically like the Wish version of the Kardashians, honestly. I tried watching it. It's
No,
okay.
I didn't even know she had that.
No, it's literally like same exact structure as the Kardashians. The show is literally about like the whole family, and it's not interesting enough to
Why
maintain.
are we doing this? Why are we giving people that have no talent and have no claim to fame fame?
It's not that she doesn't have, well, okay. Charlie has
What
talent
are they
with
famous for?
dancing,
What are they famous for?
but that's the thing. Yeah. Um, Funny enough, Charlie D'Amelio, the D'Amelios are from Connecticut. They're from I believe they're from Norwalk.
Well,
Or
I say they have to be from one of the rich towns. There ain't no way they're from like fucking Meriden.
no, no. They are sure not, but I'm trying to think of like what else. I know that her and her sister have stuff going on too. Her sister's a singer, not a very good one. Sorry. If anybody here is fans of Dixie, but I don't really care for her that much. I'm trying to think what else. They have like a shoe line, I think. Um, but again, so they have stuff going on, but I don't know. There's just something about them that's just not catapulting them,
Mm-hmm.
like they were pre Dancing with the Stars and
Yeah.
pre
Yeah.
So there was that. And then you have Ariana kind of taking over in the fame department. Um, and that's
I really hope she hosts the reunion. I'm pretty sure she is, and I am so excited for this.
She did, because I think the way that she signed off saying, I can't wait to see you all very soon, like she's without a doubt hosting it. And they're going to be filming it in NYC because Ariana is, I hate this thumbs up thing. But they're going to be hosting the reunion in NYC because Ariana is going to be in the city doing Chicago.
Yeah.
We will not be tuning in for the night of the reunion and I bought these tickets before we knew that the reunion was going to be airing that day, but we're actually going to see Chicago on the 19th, the day that the reunion airs. So we're hoping that she's actually going to be performing that day. I'm pretty sure she will be, but
I said you this earlier when we realized the time, the little fuck up we did there. She won't be missing a show that early in her run. She'd only be on in Chicago maybe 3 weeks at that point. And
well,
because
I was
such
going
a
to say
short,
kind of in the middle of her run because she extended to September 1st.
yeah, but it's such a short run too that she's not there's no way she's gonna miss any time whatsoever on the show. So I'm sure they're either filming it now before she starts in the show, or they'll do it on her day off. And she's in New York, so she doesn't have to fly like she did for the Vanderpump reunion. They'll do it right there on the in New York sound stages. Cause you can get that shit done in a day. You only need a day to film that shit, right?
For what?
The reunion. Yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a 3-day filming thing. So they'll do it on her off day, and then she'll be right back to it.
Yeah. They probably will take like a like about 8 hours just to film the whole thing
Yeah.
if I had to guess.
Yeah.
That would also make sense as to why the cast went to LA to start.
Mhm.
Because if you're flying out of Fiji, it would make the most sense because you're already past Asia, right? It's a shorter flight to go straight to LA.
Yes, because Fiji is down by like
Australia.
Australia, New Zealand area, and so it's much easier to do your to fly. It's probably cheaper to fly to LA because you're going up the ocean, and then you also have to cross the country to get to New York. So I'm sure they all flew to LA. They're gonna hang around there for a couple days, do all their podcasts, and then I have no doubt the reunion will be filmed either this coming weekend or in the next week or two. They'll fly over to New York, film it, and then everyone will then go back to their actual houses.
Yeah.
I'm sure they want everything, especially because everything is so fresh. They will give everyone time to watch everything, and then they will film so that everyone's feelings are still raw and at the surface. And because it literally just ended, I don't see them waiting very long to film this, especially if it's on the 19th.
And that's if everybody decides to watch it all back. I saw that somewhere that Serena already said she was not going to be watching the season back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I think too with something like this is that compared to like other Bravo shows and other reality shows that do reunions where you're not there for everything. There's scenes that you don't see. Like with Vanderpump, like they're not all together all the time. But with Love Island, they were together literally every hour of every day. Like you saw everything. There's really is no reason to go back and watch. I think the only thing that anyone would really go back to see is maybe like the Casa Amor.
Well, Casa Amor, but also certain conversations that they were not present for. Because remember, people were still like separating and having their own conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, unless they didn't already know, those people didn't go and immediately tell them what they said, and that, but I doubt most, or if any, are really going to do a episode by episode watch. I'm sure it's when is this scene in what episode, and just kind of pick and choose what to fill in the gaps of what you missed.
That's fair. They do also have friends that watched. So like if anything truly happened that they needed to see, I'm sure their friend would take note of that and be like, okay, so this is really what you need to see. These are the conversations that you didn't get to see happen, this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Just as Ariana's friends did for her with this past Vanderpump season.
Yes. I am so salty that we couldn't go to the city for Brad's viewing party.
I know.
I would have loved to have gone.
We'll have to adults have grown-up jobs.
True. Adulting sucks, guys. But whatever. I think this is a good place to wrap it up. Are there any final thoughts that we have when it comes to the finale of it all the tea that was spilled?
No. I think I said all I needed to say, honestly.
Same. I will just lastly reiterate, I know this was our first real Love Island watching experience. But I think it was a great experience at that. The season itself was very clearly captivating with the way that it completely blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And if Ariana is back to host again, we will certainly be there.
Yes. Honestly, even if she's not back to host again, I will definitely be there.
Good. You could be our like Love Island representative just in case. But thank you guys for watching. Give us a follow on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. We like to live tweet now when these things are happening. Sarah, are you going to be live tweeting when you're watching The Housewives?
Yes, yeah. I haven't the last couple episodes just because either I watched it afterwards because Love Island was on at the same time slot, or my little pea brain forgot. But I'm gonna try, and especially with OC, I'm gonna try and live tweet with that. So
Yeah.
it's me on Twitter, y'all.
Also, I know people have been asking us about our private exchange with Victoria Lee, Tom Sandoval's girlfriend. I won't go too into it right now, but if you are interested in knowing what that conversation is, we are thinking about talking about it on Patreon as like a private chat. So let us know if that's something that you would be interested in. And if enough people are interested, we'll do it on the Patreon privately.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
we're blocked. It's not like they'll ever know what we said.
huh?
They're blocked. I mean, they blocked us. It's not like they're ever really gonna know.
I know. It's just it's a principle thing.
No, I
I
agree.
don't want
Yeah.
to give them that satisfaction, you know?
No, I know. Hey, you want to see what I said about you? Unblock me and pay for it, bitch.
Exactly. So there's that. Thank you all again for joining us, and we will see you again very soon. Stay tuned for all of our Love Island recap videos coming up in the coming weeks. Bye.
Bye.